Good morning. Good morning, and thank you all for coming out in such amazing numbers. As you know, Israel has been waging for the past 2 weeks a war against the Hamas terror organization, which has been launching rockets and missiles against our towns and villages for 8 years. Over 8,000 of those missiles have fallen in Israel, and today over 15% of our population lives within their range. This sort of situation would be unacceptable to any people and any country, and the Israeli government has decided to strike back at the terrorists. This is a prolonged and costly effort designed to bring about a real change in the security situation of 1 million Israeli citizens who have to run to an air raid shelter 5 or 10 times a day and sometimes more. It is the duty of our government and our military to defend the lives and well-being of our citizens, while at the same time taking great care as well as great risks to minimize the damage inflicted upon the civilian population in Gaza. But would anybody expect us to really open a constructive dialogue with killers, with terrorists? Would anybody in this crowd want to open a constructive dialogue with a killer coming into his house? How can the UN demand of Israel to open such a dialogue? Israel is allowing over 1,500 tons of humanitarian aid, food and medication to go into Gaza every single day at the same time as we are fighting terrorism. This is because we do not have a war with the people of Gaza. We are not at war with the Palestinian people. We are at war with a terror organization, and let us not forget that. But there is no symmetry. On the one hand, you have terrorists. On the other hand, you have a democratic nation defending itself. And we are not the same. And when the Security Council says that we are the same and we should have a ceasefire as if we were equal, we say to them, excuse us, but we will do what we need to do to defend our citizens first. Hamas is not interested in solutions. They're not interested in agreements. They're not interested in pacts. They're not interested in a two-state solution. They're interested in a one-state solution. And for them, the solution is for us to disappear, but I don't think we're going to do that. Their culture sanctifies death. We sanctify life. And we sanctify the lives of our own citizens, and ironically, the lives of our neighbors as well, but not the lives of terrorists who will not be spared. I mentioned before the humanitarian aid that goes into Gaza every single day. Let me just tell you what happens with some of that aid. Hamas takes that food, takes the medicine, and sells it to their citizens to buy more weapons from Iran. That is the kind of people we are dealing with, and that is who we are fighting. The support of our friends in Florida is considerable. It serves to strengthen the resolve of the people of Israel at a time of conflict. 24 out of Florida's 25 members of Congress in Washington have already issued their statements of support for Israel. Florida's two senators in Washington have done the same. And your governor has issued his own statement of support for Israel. The Florida State House of Representatives, as well as the Florida State Senate, have passed unanimous resolutions supporting Israel's right to defend itself. This is the resolution by the Florida House. I do not have yet the one by the Senate because it was only passed on Friday. But the two people responsible for that are here with us. Representative Adam Hasner from the Florida House. He's the House Majority Leader. and Senator Ted Deutsch with us today. He is the guy who presented the bill in the Senate. These two men have done more for Israel than 99.9% of the world. I would like to thank you all for expressing in deed, as well as in thoughts and prayers, your support for what we are doing in order to defend our citizens. We will continue to stand front row and center among the enlightened, democratic, and peace-seeking nations of the world against the dark forces of radical Islam, which seeks to impose a violent, intolerant, and bleak future on Israel, on the Middle East, and on all Western democracies. Your support gives us strength, and we need to continue fighting for our right to exist in the future. Thank you.